All right, let's see what's going on here. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of L'Esprit. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much, guys, is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. But ultimately, here, the goal is to allow you to increase your consciousness, to become more aware of who you are. And that's why I always tell the game. I always tell people the name of the game is consciousness, meaning for you to become more aware of who you are. Now, in this channel here, to give is to receive, what we do in this channel is that we we expand pretty much on certain quotes. We expand on proverbs, wise saying, however you like to label it. But what I'm referring to is those wise statements, that is full of life experiences and knowledge. A lot of those statements, are fully loaded statements. And with me being a spiritual healer and with the name of the game being consciousness, which is becoming more aware, so it's only right, that I direct you into those particular statements, but most importantly, you know, um, showing you the true power of word, pretty much. Because when we're talking about the power of the words or of the word, we're not talking about the actual definition of a word. It has never been the case. When you're looking at poetry, when you're looking at, great speakers, or however you want to label it, or even Jesus in the Bible, it's not necessarily, the things or the word that he's using, but it's how he's saying what he's saying. Because the how, pretty much, that's how you bypass the conscious mind. The how is the part that pretty much gets you to open up. So now you can actually receive the knowledge. And another great advantage of these statements too, it's the fact that, you don't necessarily have to, go through the experience yourself to have an insight, but you're able to tap in into somebody else's experiences and being able to unpack or unlock, those life or experiences, jewels that you'll find in those statements. And to me, and that's the true power of words because, at first it bypasses your conscious mind. So it captivates you. And then now it pretty much opens you up and now you're able to receive whatever the fuck that message is. And that's the true power of the word. And that's when I know for me, there's a certain way certain things are being said. I'm like, come on, preach. When you say exactly, so when you say preach or keep on going, this is you feeling. This is the word acting on you, baby. I'm not alone here. And I fucking love that shit. That's my blessing. That's my nourishment. Oh, listen, that's all day, every day for me. I love it. But anyway, with all of that being said, so that's what we do here. That's what we specialize in. And the reason why we choose to do that is pretty much everything I just told you because of the power of the words, but most importantly, because it helps you to increase your consciousness. Now, with no further ado, let's do what we came here to do, right? So, as you see in the title, and this quote is actually from, what's that guy name? Chopra, something, Chopra, whatever. But I'll make sure that I give him his proper, shit. So either I don't, get taken down for that, or just to give the motherfuckers credit. Hey, he said it. He said it. It is what it is. But here's something else too. Here's another disclaimer, just so you guys know, because to me, like I always say, wisdom is wisdom, regardless of where it comes from. So as you see here, you could see the rhyme and reason, but most importantly, I'm also showing, listen, the truth is going to be the truth from a 5-year old if it comes out of a 5-year old's mouth, as much as if it's a 42 or 45-year old man or women, doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. So, and here's another thing that I love about these because they're all fucking universal. And with that being said, so just know or keep in mind a lot of those statements, they're going to come from different sources. Christianity, don't give a fuck. Islam, don't give a fuck. Buddhism, don't give a fuck. Whatever the fuck. So that was just as a disclaimer. But anyway, going back to the title that you're looking at, which is pretty much should be saying awakening. It's not about changing who you are, but pretty much discarding discarding who you are not. Now that statement in itself, like I know for me, I could tell it comes from somebody who's done the work because that statement, it's to me, it's someone who's active in the field. It's one thing, and here's another great thing too. As you're becoming conscious, you are activating yourself, you are experiencing or going through your own transformation. You get to rewrite history, you get to rewrite or realign the whole narrative or to change the narrative. But a lot of that's why I always tell people if you're going to repeat, because ultimately everything's already being said, but you want to say it from a fucking understanding perspective. You want to say, I'm repeating what he just said, but I understand it. But most importantly, let's dive into that statement just to see, what this is really talking about here, right? I know for me personally, and that's why I love the way he verbalized it. Because for me, as I'm going through this path, it's almost like I changed, but I didn't change. I know that I changed, but I also know that I didn't change. Now, it may sound like a paradox, but let's get into it because me changing is just me becoming a better version of me. So that better version of what I already am, which I was not before, but I was also that too, but has to come into manifestation. And this is the whole paradox too. That's how, like the Kabbalion says, this is your true nature. You embody, you are both the beginning and the end. You are everything and nothing at the same time. But that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, to get back to what I was saying, so it's almost like, I could tell that I'm changing or I have changed, but what I'm truly saying is that I have became a better version of myself, right? Because it ain't really like I have changed, but I also have changed because no, not to be too repetitive here, and I hope I'm not confusing you. But the little better that I got, I wasn't that before. But that's how I actually got the change. But since I became a better version of myself, so it's almost like I changed, but I didn't really change. So, with all of that being said, so what we're truly doing as you are changing or as you're becoming more of you or a better version of yourself, what you're truly doing is you're removing or you're creating boundaries. You're taking out the garbage. And that's the truth. I know at least for me. At least for me it is. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it's almost like, and that's another reason too. I felt like, what was that book? The Alchemist. That was a brilliant book. It was actually brilliant because what he was able to do, it was, taking you out on a journey and bring you right back to where you were. And that's what we do, as spiritual healers or as spiritual people in general. What you're truly doing is, as you growing spiritually, mentally, however the fuck you want to put it, you just having a better understanding of the ordinary bullshit. So then now, once you have that greater understanding, then you have a different attitude towards whatever the fuck that you're dealing with. And truly, that's how I'm able to, that's gonna be on the other channel. But by the way, I do have another channel, L'Esprit, and I'm gonna go live tonight too, just so you guys know. So what I do there pretty much is almost the same thing as here, but I mean, ultimately, in essence, it is the same thing. But I go more into certain topics, and that's when I get the smoke and I'm talking my shit. You guys should definitely check it out. But I'm saying all of that to say, going back to that statement, right? So, and as you know, I guess part of the process as you are changing, then you realize you're really becoming who you are. But most importantly, what you're truly doing as you're doing that is it's removing or taking the trash. And that's when, if you're going through that path yourself, that's when, I know for me, if I'm using myself, the family that I came from, and I had to separate myself. And that separation comes from me becoming more of who I am, not out of hate, not out of none of that, or I think I'm better. It's none of that. It's just me adhering to myself and becoming more of myself. That's why, like I always tell people, that's why you can't serve two masters. If you're gonna serve if you choose to follow yourself, it's gonna be impossible for you to be a people pleaser. I know for me, I can't do it. I'm not wired that way. There's no life, there's no integrity, there's no. I felt like there's no being. It's not, for me to just go with the flow. I mean, and it's hard for me not to shit on that too. I do accept it, but because it's not part of my makeup, but I'm also got to take consideration. I have to take that under consideration as well, you know, and it is what it is. And that's when I also understand too, being of the light and not being of the light either. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, and now if you want to talk about good and evil, I guess that's when that part comes in. I mean, for me, I'm not too big on describing it that way, but I could, I can understand because I mean, what you're calling evil, it is evil, but I guess for me, because I understand it, but it's still evil though. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're dealing with a lot of people, let's just say haters, and those haters, who the fuck do you think those people are? Those are people who actively they chose not to follow their heart. They chose not to follow who they are. And they've been given many different occasions for them to actually change. They said, fuck it, I'm not changing. So there you are. If you happen to be next to them and now you're changing yourself, they're like, oh, no, 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 player. Not only that they're not changing, now, what I'm saying? Now they don't want you to change. That's why the haters, they would always try to block you and shit like that. And it's not even, sometimes they would say they are competing with, it's not even a competition. It's just straight up hate because if you're talking about competition, right? If there's gonna be now who's coming up? I think Tyson Fury and that Cameron brother, right? and Gnu, whatever the fuck this nigga name is, right? These niggas, both of them are training hard so they could fight each other. Now, what these people do, what you call your haters or energy vampires, what they do pretty much is that they fucking up your game. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like here they are, they're competing with you, but it's not really a competition. That's why they play dirty. It's not really a competition. It's them trying to stop you. Do you see what I'm saying? And they'll do anything to bring obstacle into your life, and that's when the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. But I'm saying all of that to say, which is also, part of what is being said here too, because you're going to have to remove, because all you're going to find yourself doing, as I found myself doing, as I'm growing or getting more into myself, it isn't necessarily something new. It is new. It is a better version of me. It's a deeper side of me. So I can't deny the newness of it, right? But also, just it's everything I just said. Okay, now okay, let me get up on that because this is a never-ending point, and that's exactly what it is, and that's exactly your nature too. You being the all and nothing. But anyway, what you're gonna find yourself doing pretty much as you're going through this path. It's you have to create boundaries for yourself. And those boundaries are the trash that you gotta take out. Oh, you gotta remove the trash for you to be a better you. There's no way out of it. For you to become a better you have to take the trash out. And that includes parents, family members, friends, whatever the fuck it is. Oh, this is real for me. I'm living this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, it's either you're gonna be you or you're gonna be a people pleaser. And of course, just like Jesus did, and just like you're gonna go through your path, they're gonna be throwing obstacle in your way because they are threatened. Here's one thing you also have to understand, even when we're talking about your haters. They don't hate what you have; they hate the person that you are. That's what they truly hate on. And we're saying hate because your light is blinding them. Oh, listen, I don't do shit, nigga. I'm stomping on this motherfuckers. I don't give a shit. If my light is fucking you up, shit. I'm fucking you up all day, nigga. All day, every day. What the fuck? I'm not gonna be myself. Like that would be, what I'm saying, me committing suicide. Because I'm not built a certain way. And listen, to make a long story short, even my mom trying to kill me. And I say trying because it's not successful. And when you're looking at the everything, of course, because of my inheritance and shit like that, but it's more than that. It's the person I have become. Who the fuck do I think I am? Do you see what I'm saying? For me to be myself. You know what I'm saying? So this bitch in her mind, it's like, who the fuck do I think I am for me to be myself? I'm not myself. So who are you for you to be yourself? So ultimately, you're gonna realize as you're going through this journey, you're dealing with, people's shadows, especially if that person is not conscious. So will be their shadow, and their shadow, for the most part, it has become their demon or their master. Now they are being ruled by their fear. That's why you'll see a lot of people that would rather, instead of being with somebody that they love or to change, they would rather be comfortable. or they would rather not change. They would rather stay to what they know. You see what I'm saying? And when you do that, that's when you die. That's death in itself. But you don't know it because of you being a punk ass motherfucker because you got hurt. That's like a baby, you fell and you didn't decide to go. Like if a baby didn't keep falling up, you know what I'm saying? Getting didn't keep well, it's both. Keep falling, I mean falling and keep getting up. You wouldn't be walking right now. That's why I tell people, man, you gotta have the right state of mind. It's how are you looking at it? In this realm here, we have to embrace pain, baby. Pain is your friend. Just like when you go to the gym, you're looking to show off how much you benching and you're doing all of that shit because like with the pain comes the strength. Well, the same thing applies in your life. And if you decide not to change, not to evolve, guess what? You're just going to be a 39, 40, 50-year old, 60-year-old motherfucker, right? In a 60-year-old body, but in reality, you're 9 years old. And those are the people, the quiet ones. Those are the motherfuckers like, they wouldn't be able to tell you. So you ask them, what have you learned from life? How stupid did you used to be? Oh, no, not me. I never was stupid. Well, guess what? If you never was stupid, I got bad news for you. That means you're still stupid because you didn't grow. Anybody who have ever grown, that's why anybody I mean, we open about our flaws because we overcame it, because we see it now. That's why when somebody's toxic, they can't tell you that they're toxic because they're toxic still. You can only say that you used to be toxic when you learn and you could tell. I mean, you got story to tell, baby. Shit, nigga, I got a whole book to tell. But anyway, going back to the whole conversation in terms of, and what makes this a fully loaded statement too, because listen, your growth is really you removing everything. It's like because you already got it. You already got it, but you have to materialize it. Just like I always tell people too. Now, you are the prize, but you're not the prize. You have to become the prize. And that goes for both men and women. But anyway, I'm saving that for that other conversation because I got another conversation coming. I just wanted to share this with you guys real quick and, delve more into those quotes. Those are your shortcuts. Those statements are fully loaded, especially you can learn so much about life, and it gives you the insight, although you didn't experience it, but it opened up your mind, it opened up your consciousness. It allows you to see things better, to have a better vision. And that's pretty much that's pretty much the name of the game. You want to become more aware. So now with that being said, understand, your growth, your awakening, your enlightenment. You're not going to change who you are, but you're going to have to create boundaries, because then you're going to realize as you're growing, automatically your growth will create enemies. You know what I'm saying? And your enemies, and that took me a minute to understand my enemies. And the reason being was because I had always transmuted everything, right? So I never really to go back to my mom, I never looked at my mom as my enemy, but I knew she wasn't my friend. But I was transmuting everything she was doing. For instance, even my baby mom, I'll give you a perfect example, right? She always go behind me to fuck up everything I got. And that's done on purpose. That's what your enemies is. That's what I wasn't looking at. But the way I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, good looking. Because if, listen, if she's gonna go with you, you guys can actually have each other. But most importantly, the way I was looking at it, which is good, is that she's working for me because now I know she's not for me. Because a woman that's for you, that's on your path, that stand up with you. Come on, man. You're not gonna listen to somebody to destroy your relationship. She did me a favor. So I was transmuting those energies, but yet I didn't take into account, what your enemy, because I was just turning everything into, it's like, when you slap me on this cheek, I turn the other cheek. How can you be an enemy for me? You understand what I'm trying to say? Which is good, but now I have learned to embrace both of them. So not that she has become my enemy, but it's understand. I mean, it's it's vital for me to understand that she's also my enemy. So that way, I could create the boundaries to take the trash out. So that way, I could take the trash out. It's not personal, but this is a trash that has to be taken out because anybody who's not for your well-being, your growth, your well-being, who's putting either obstacle, who's trying to fuck you up. That's what your enemy does. They fucking you up. At least they are trying. Mm-mm-mm. That a bitch. Get that a motherfucking bitch, my niggas. But again, I also wanted to share that with you too, for you to understand that, this is our path. This is the spiritual path. This is those ordinary stuff that you have to have a better understanding, that you have to, you know, um, you know, change the way you were looking at it. Because pretty much when you're being born again, what you're truly doing is changing your perspective or having a deeper perspective. You know what I'm saying? You have to overcome your old ways of looking at things, for you to look at them the way they are now. So now, with that being said, I'm gonna leave it here. I sent proud to give us to receive, baby. Nothing but love.